been lit, boy. Everything goes.
We now return you to regular programming.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode 153 of Everything Goes Podcast. You can find us everywhere. We got the boys back here. I think Kris has officially mailed it in both at work and on the podcast now. He's outside eating beforehand. He's got the legs up, sleeveless shirt. He's looking good, guys.
I could recline this. I really could. Yeah, it's been a tough day. I've been out of work for 3 weeks now. I gave my notice. I gave them 3 weeks notice. It was emotional. I've been there for almost 17 years. The whole office, everyone basically took me out to and my wife to dinner. And we spent an evening just hanging out, shooting the shit, drinking alcohol, and reminiscing. And it's on to the next adventure.
How does it feel? How does it feel when you saw the truck pull up today, knowing like, oh snap, like this is happening?
It was amazing because Mom and I were out here doing our morning devotionals, and then we started doing our prayer, and then all of a sudden my phone rings, and I didn't want to answer it. The guy was actually sitting in a parking lot by my house, wanted to know where he wanted to park it. So he answered it, and it's just, this whole journey has been amazing. It just, when you walk in the house now, you can hear it echo because there's nothing in there. It's getting real. And Friday is our last day in Pennsylvania. We're heading out at 3 a.m. and we're shooting for Omaha, Nebraska, the first day, which is like, I think it's either 15 or 17 hours, and then a short little hop and a skip into Colorado on Saturday.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, that's a huge sacrifice.
I feel like that's emotional, but also very exciting at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a journey. This is something we want to do for the last 3 years, and we always had excuses of why we shouldn't do it. And the hardest thing is leaving our grandkids. We have 6 grandkids here, and our job was to raise our kids. We raised our kids. My youngest is coming with us, but he's 24. He was going out no matter what. Our job is to raise our kids, not raise our grandkids. So it's our job is to spoil them. So this is what we wanted to do. And it's going to be tough, but I'm so glad we're doing it.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. It's crazy to think I'll never see that house that you're in right now again. Like I had my last day in there for that 2 days I visited.
Just think next week, it'll be 5:30 my time.
Yo,
yeah. Are you sleeping on air mattresses too?
Tonight's the first night we're actually sleeping on the air mattress.
Okay.
I loaded everything up.
Did it all fit?
Yeah, I rented a truck. It's 28 feet, but I only rented 17 feet of the space. And right now we're sitting around 12 feet. So I'll actually get some money back if it stays like that, but I still have things to put on yet. I still have to put my patio stuff in. I tell you what, we have been donating a lot of stuff to people in need, and just giving stuff away and making people's day doing it. I gave away my whole patio set out here to a couple, and I gave away all my end tables to a person who just moved here and didn't have anything. I just gave it all. Just gave my dishwasher away to one of my best friends for $1 because he wanted to pay me something. So I said, all right, $1. But yeah, I'm trying to do the right thing and give things to people in need.
It's you said 5:30 your time. It's good. I said to Ace last time we did the podcast because you weren't here. I said it's gonna be very interesting because I'm gonna text y'all. I'm like, hey guys, it's going on 8 o'clock, and Ace is gonna be like, well, it's only 7 o'clock my time, and Dad's gonna be like, well, it's only 6 o'clock my time.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I'm excited. I really am excited for that. Like baseball starts here at 7 o'clock out there. The Yankees come on at 5 o'clock. There'll be no more restless nights going to bed after the Cowboys lose.
Yeah. It's gonna be weird too. Is I went to Target the other day, and they are slowly bringing out their Halloween stuff, and it's so weird because it is so still hot, obviously in all of the places that we're at. And I'm like, in my mind though, I'm like, it's gonna be weird going into fall. It's still gonna be 80 degrees here with the humidity and feel like it's 100.
I'll tell you what, it was tough here today. It was hot today, and tomorrow they went at 95. So I'm glad I got a lot of it done because inside that truck, man, that is an oven.
Yeah,
I believe it, man. I believe that's me inside the hotel all day.
Yep.
Oh God.
All right. Imagine. A lot of catching up, obviously, but there is a lot going on today. Obviously, today was the MLB trade deadline. I think it was 5 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. I forget which one it was. I saw 2 different times, so I could be wrong for either
6
one.
6 p.m. Eastern.
6 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, we just got it checked in our ears. That guy in the background just told us for us, obviously, a lot of big things happened. The big one we need to talk about first, Juan Soto traded to the Padres. A lot of people saying this is the biggest trade in history that we will see. Dad, do you guys agree? Biggest trade in history that you maybe ever saw or will see to this day?
Go ahead, Ace.
Crap, that's a great question. Nothing comes to mind right now. Like most
23 years old,
but at that age, yeah, and some of the, I think that is the biggest. I'd have to think on that for a second here, but great move overall for the Padres. They're clearly going all in.
They got Josh Bell too. I mean, they did give up. I
Yep.
think they're. What did they give up? They gave up their first, their third, and I think their fifth ranked or something like that prospects plus other prospects. Luke Voigt got moved. C.J. Abrams got moved. Mackenzie Gore got moved. You know what? The Nationals had this coming. You know, they offered him a $450-some million deal, but it only came out to $29 million a year, which was ranked like 18th in the MLB. You know, let's face it, these guys want big bucks. So
yeah, 15 mil too. Who wants to sign that? Like,
yeah, and I think he's under Padres control until 2024, which is still good. So you don't gotta give him that big deal.
Right. Yeah. And why I think this is such a big trade is you look at the Padres who, you know, are floating around there as still playoff contenders. They have Tatis Jr. who's about to go into rehab games. They managed to get Josh Hader. How about the Brewers giving up Josh Hader to the Padres out of nowhere? Just out of nowhere, right? You get Juan Soto, you got Josh Bell, and then they go out, they trade Eric Hosmer, said, screw you guys, I'm not going to the Nationals. Boston takes him out of nowhere. That trade came out of nowhere. They go out and get Brandon Drury to add to that already stacked lineup, right? What are you gonna say?
That might be the trade. That might be the trade, the Hader trade, where they got like their 1, their 3, their 4, and their 5 prospects. It's like all their top prospects went to the San Diego or wherever he was, or Milwaukee, whatever it was.
One of my buddies actually sent me something that he listened to one of the Brewers relievers talking about Hader. This was like today or something.
Yep, it was today.
It was very somber. Like, just he clearly had an impact in the locker room, and so they are pissed. My friends in Milwaukee, or like around that area, Wisconsin, are pissed that they got rid of somebody, even though he hasn't been playing well the last handful of weeks. Like when I went to the Twins game to watch them play the afternoon game, Miranda, one of our rookies, hit a walk-off grand slam against him. So really, that kind of dovetailed his little, I don't know, weird move though.
Yeah, well, in the past 30 hours, the Padres have made some huge moves. I do believe this does make them a high contender in the playoffs, in my opinion, which is how stacked their offensive lineup is. They still wanted to move Will Myers. I feel like every year they want to move Will Myers, but he didn't get moved. I feel bad for Luke Voigt going to the Nationals. I don't blame Eric Hosmer. I would rather go to Boston over the Nationals. But man, Juan Soto, 23 years old, stepped in there with Manny Machado and Tatis Jr. when he's back healthy. That's a dangerous lineup. I'm sorry, but that's a dangerous lineup.
Boston's 52-52. I mean, they still have a shot at the playoffs.
They do. Absolutely. Geez, yeah. Now, how about that video? Did you guys see that video of Christian Vasquez?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to change that. Like, you can't leak crap to the media and let them find out that way. That's terrible.
No, like
the AL East is the only division that all the teams are over 500.
Yeah.
I mean, the AL Central might be the only team with under 500 that has to just, it'd be like the NFC East. Somebody just has to go to the playoffs. That could happen with the Twins.
Yeah. And the O's traded Mancini.
Oh, Mancini. Yeah.
Mancini. They traded him to the Astros, which they got some really good prospects out of that. So the O's are continuing just to build something really well that they already have there as they're fighting for that 500 spot. The Astros, I feel like, loaded up too. Astros are a team I hate playing. I hate the Astros. I'd rather play Boston than the Astros. As much as I hate Boston.
They got the Yankees number.
They do. They really do.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny. Even after the whole cheating scandal, I feel like they've got 10 times better after that. Like they just smacked everyone in the face. Said, screw you. We're still going to go to the World Series. They lost the Braves last in the World Series, but they're always in the playoffs. It's like they're not afraid of any team. They go in there And they're like, I don't care what team you are. I'm gonna hit a home run. I'm gonna go pitch. I'm gonna play some baseball. And that's what it is at the end of the day. Dusty Baker's a good manager, and they're winning, man.
And the thing that sucks is they're only 3 games behind the Yankees for the number 1 seed. So if they tie, Houston takes the tiebreaker since they went 5-2 against the Yankees this year.
They've turned it on recently too, Houston. Like out of nowhere, I saw that they had 60 wins, and I'm like, wait, what? Where did that come from? Especially when the Mariners, go figure, they're almost back to 500 even after a 14-game winning streak.
Yeah, the Mariners stacked up too with Castillo.
That man, I think what the Astros do well is I think it's number one culture, and it's who they bring. Like their scouting has to be just top notch at this point, because they've turned that corner where the last, I don't know, 4 out of 6 years they've made it to the World Series, or at least
they've been to the World Series at least 2 to 3 times last like 5 years. I could be wrong on that, but
they've been to the AL championship how many years in a row? Like 5 years in a row or something like that.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
I feel like nobody really talks about how good they've been.
Maybe they found a new way to cheat.
Maybe. One of the biggest things that I saw was the fact that the Angels were really hardcore for a second, listening to a lot of calls on Ohtani. And I thought about this for a second, and I said, in my mind, I was like, listen, if I'm the Angels, I would have cleaned house this year. You have Mike Trout, as great as he is, I feel bad for him. He's got this, that rare back thing that's going to linger with him probably for the rest of his career. You had Ohtani. I would have cleaned house. I mean, there's not much there anymore. I mean, they've got to be one of the laughing stocks of MLB. I mean, you have all this talent every year. One of the best baseball players to ever play the game on your team. You have a guy that's a pitcher and a player, and he's doing amazing at both. And you just can't ever get to the playoffs. So, in my opinion, I would have listened. I would have took the best offer. I would have listened for Mike Trout. I would have listened for them all.
And the sad thing is they have a good team. They have a lot of high contracts over in that organization, but the problem is they don't have pitching to go with it.
They don't.
No. And then Rendor, Trout, and then they just never stay healthy. So it's just Ohtani leading the way.
They just traded one of their relievers to the Braves. I think his last name was Iglesia. Could be butchering that, but they started to trade some of those players away. But
I wanted Syndergaard for the Twins, and the fact that he's gone, Ty, I agree with you. They should have just sold house. Like, I don't know what Trout's value is, but I think Shohei has 1 or 2 years left on his deal. So it's like, at the end of the day, why not try now? You're not going to get longer you wait, it's just going to end up being worse off, knowing that he's going to end up going into free agency or something.
Even if you keep Shohei, at least, I mean, you get rid of Syndergaard, right? You're already getting rid of pitching. So you're already digging yourself into a bigger hole. Just clean house at that point. Keep one guy like Shohei or I honestly, as much as I like Trout, I think at this point I would have got rid of him. I mean, he's never healthy.
The Syndergaard for the Phillies is only a 1-year rental, not even a season. He's a half a season rental. There's no team controlling him, and the problem is he was struggling out there with the Athletics. He wasn't doing very well
with the Angels. Yeah, he only signed a 1 year. He only signed like a 1 year prove it deal. So
and it's not even a year. It's like 30 games left, 40 games left.
Is it?
Yeah.
We talking about like as much as that? How many games left in the season?
Yeah,
I don't know. That's a great question.
Well, I'm talking about like the contract he signed with the Angels was just a 1 year deal.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. He's a rental for the Phillies.
Yeah,
there's probably 60 plus games left. FYI.
I think I think the Phillies are making a hard decision that they're saying, let's make a hard push at the wild card and even the division. But the Mets are really good, man. I think the Mets are a solid team. You saw that playoff atmosphere against the Yankees. But they get another pitcher and they beefing up their bullpen with Robertson, which they desperately needed.
Yeah,
Phillies
but
are the third best team. Phillies are the third best team. The Braves could easily beat them, and I think the Mets would beat them too.
Robinson is like 38 years old. His ERA is almost 6. I mean, he's not much of an improvement. His good days are behind him.
No. I just checked Robertson's ERA.
5.49 ERA. I'm looking at it right now.
There's no way. I just checked 2 days ago.
Oh, that was 2019. My bad. 2019.
Yeah, I would say he's got like a 2-something ERA.
2.23 ERA.
Yeah, he's one of the best relievers in the game this year right now.
Okay, so he sucked the last time with the Phillies.
He did. He was bad with the Phillies last time. Go ahead, Ace.
Let's go around quick, talk about who the Yankees and Twins got. We can start with the Yankees, and then let's round out the rest of the trades that I don't think we've touched on.
Yeah. Dad, you want me to cover it? I don't know if you have anything on that.
Yeah, go ahead. I know they got Montross, and I know they got the Efren, whatever, from the Cubs. And they
We'll start with the first one that I really loved is Andrew Benintendi. Wasn't expensive to get him that much. He's a great contact hitter. He's not going to give you 30 home runs, which is someone we needed. We needed someone who wasn't focused on home runs. He's batting 311 right now, 41 RBIs. He's fast. He's small. He could steal bases for us. The Kansas City Royals weren't known to steal bases. The Yankees are. I think his second game with us, he stole a base. I loved that trade. I love him in left field. He's got a great glove. I think he's going to bring something good to our team, and especially in the playoffs when the home run hitters go cold. You need a good contact hitter.
Yep.
Then we go to the Cubs. We get a sidearm 3/4 reliever from Scott Efros, which
amazing.
2.66 ERA right now. We definitely, who doesn't want to beef up their bullpen as you get ready for playoffs? We get him. We just made it. Go ahead, Ace. Are you trying to say something?
No, I'm just raising my hand. The Twins too.
Yeah, I do. I agree. I'll go in order. Then the Athletics are just the laughing stock of MLB this year because they can barely get any fans. We go out and we get a right-handed pitcher, Frankie Montes, who's got a 3.18 ERA with 109 strikeouts. He won't attend a Yankees game until probably the St. Louis game because his mother-in-law, I believe it was, just passed away, so he's going to a funeral. In that deal, they also threw in I think it's Trevino, if that's how you say his last name. Nothing special about him. He's a reliever. He's got 6.47 ERA. He's 1-6. I think they just threw him in there in the deal. Maybe he turns it on for the Yankees.
But the good thing about the Yankees, though, is Britton's coming back. Britton's throwing. And Chapman has been looking a lot better the last couple of games.
Absolutely. I totally forgot about Zach Britton.
101.9 on his fastball last night, which is as fast as he's thrown all year.
He's been pitching really. I've been watching the past 4 Yankees games from first to last inning, and he's been pitching really good. And the last trade before the deadline was, I think, shocked a lot of people, was Jordan Montgomery, who has been struggling pitching lately. He gets traded to St. Louis, who probably will pitch against us. And in return, we get a Gold Glove center fielder in Harrison Bader. Not a huge hitter. You know, he's batting 256 with 5 home runs, but he's got 15 stolen bases. I think the leader in our team has 10 or 11, which is probably Judge. So bring speed to the team. They've been dying to move Judge from center field to right field to save his legs. Center field was the position they said was our lowest defensive ranked. So you bring in a Gold Glover, and I feel like it does complete the puzzle if he can stay a contact hitter with Andrew. But I know you don't like it. I definitely don't agree with getting rid of the pitching.
So they swap Montgomery for Montas in a way.
Basically, yeah. But the only downside to that is Talion's been struggling. Herman is struggling. So it's like, I mean, you're taking a risk. Severino's injured again. So, I mean,
look, I just think it's bad for the Yankees. I think Montgomery should have 9 wins already. They never generate enough runs for him. He always leaves the game with either the score minimal.
That's
with
not the
them
case.
losing.
His past 3 starts, though. His past 3 starts, he was getting lit up in the first inning.
Okay, but Talion has given up over 5 runs before his last start. He gave up in his last 6 games over 5 runs a game. You lose Severino, who's out now for 60 days. So, you know, that's a big loss. And then now Herman came back and pitched good last night. But the problem is you're getting rid of a good lefty.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, I think that there was some kind of move where they were hoping to trade. In that trade, I think they were hoping to possibly get that Miami pitcher or go and get another pitcher. But I agree. I think we should have kept that pitcher. I think we should have kept Montgomery and kept the rotation. I mean,
just for a guy who's batting 256 with 5 home runs and 15 stolen bases, but he has plantar fasciitis, which is a foot problem that's never going to go away.
It goes away. I worked in footwear.
I just think it's a bad move for the Yankees. I mean, it's the only one that's bad.
I think this is one of those moves that we talk about it in 2 months to see how it worked out.
But you got enough. You got enough outfield depth now. You didn't have to go pick up another outfield.
So the thing with the outfield is you have Aaron Hicks, you have Aaron Judge, you have Stanton come back. Now you have Harrison Bader. Sorry. And you have Matt Carpenter, who is still batting 300.
You also have Andujar.
Well, Andujar's in AAA.
I understand that, but he deserves a shot. I think they should have got rid of Hicks. I think they should have got rid of Hicks.
One move I was happy for is the Yankees traded Joey Gallo. They were able to trade him to the Dodgers.
Yeah, he wasn't doing anything.
What? He gets to win a title this year?
Maybe. He was batting, man. I have it right here. Batting 159. I saw something. I think he had like I'm taking a guess here. Not a guess. I'm taking like an estimate. It was like 256 at bats, and he had like 109 strikeouts. Like he could not. You feel bad for a guy when that happens. He could not find it in New York. I hope he finds it in LA. He just did that story where he talked about how he couldn't even walk in the streets in New York because it went from the field to outside of the field. They were still booing him and telling him he sucks.
It's one of the hardest places to play.
It is. And Michael Kay said it well. Like, he's like, listen, like, what do you want us to say? You were the last 20 games, he was batting .59. You couldn't hit. You just couldn't do it. You're striking out. You've been the worst player on the team all year. They're going to boo you.
That's the problem with when you come to a big market organization like that, the Mets, the Yankees, that's big newspaper, New York Post. That's big coverage. Just like what the Eagles, with Philadelphia Eagles. That's another tough one. If you don't have it, man, they're going to ride you.
It's like just like Lindor. Lindor struggled his first year, and the Mets fans let him know. But this year, obviously, he turned it around a little bit. But
the biggest problem I have with the Yankees, and then we'll get to the Twins, is the Yankees have too many power hitters. Teams like Houston have finesse players that can give you home runs plus give you hits. We have guys that all they try to do is hit home runs, and that's the problem. We can go and get 12 hits one game and then have one the next day. And that's the biggest problem with the Yankees. You get me DJ LeMahieu's and guys like that, and IKF, guys like that can get you those hits. But then you get into that lineup where you get Stanton, you get Judge, you had Gallo, and then you get Rizzo. Those guys either hit home runs or they strike out, and that's the problem. But my thing is I don't know if the Yankees still have enough to be a championship team. I think they'll make the playoffs definitely, but they have already started off the second half struggling. And I just think teams like Houston, and I still think teams like Toronto's dangerous, man. They have. Toronto's been in a slump, and I just think teams like that, they scare you.
I think, I'm not disagreeing with you, but you talk about we're just a power hitting team. I think we have a very balanced team. IKF is a double singles guy. DJ LeMahieu, the past 20 games, has been one of the best hitters in MLB right now, not only with home runs, but contact. Rizzo, batting behind Judge, has been a great bat right now. You're seeing that. Then you go and get Andrew Benintendi, who's known to be a contact hitter. You're bringing Hader, who's a contact hitter. So I feel like we are starting to balance out. And I said DJ LeMahieu. That's the kind of guy. I know.
But the problem with Rizzo is Rizzo can go in for an 0-for-20 slump, just like Hicks. Hicks was hot for 2-3 weeks. Now he's 0 for 21 again. The only one that's not having a slump this year is Judge, and Judge is just phenomenal. But in years past, he wasn't. It's a contract year. He's playing amazing baseball. And I heard a stat too. Judge has exactly the same amount of home runs in the exact same amount of years as Mike Trout, 201.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say, then we'll get on to the Twins. I feel like Judge has progressed every year. We talked about that on this podcast before. I feel like he's getting better and better every year. Just another argument why we deserve to pay this guy, why we need to pay this guy is Aaron Judge. These are the categories that he leads in MLB right now. He's got 89 runs. That's first in MLB. He's got 43 home runs. That's first in the MLB. 93 RBIs, first in the MLB. 6.2 WAR, which I don't even know what that is, but he's first in MLB. A .680 slugging percentage. That is first in the MLB. This man, the past 10 games that I've been watching, it's kind of fake. Incredible. It's fake to watch it. Like you see this guy hitting home run after home run after home run. The walk-off against the Royals, bottom of the ninth, 1 out, first pitch, home run, center field. And it's just like this is one of those rare seasons, like a Barry Bonds, like a Mike Trout. Like it's one of those seasons that you're just like, you had to be there to see it. Like it's crazy.
He won't be a Yankee next year.
It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock
me. Yankees are known to blow contracts, and they just don't get. If George Steinbrenner was there, he would make Judge the highest paid player in baseball. And these kids don't want to spend money.
And this is my thing. I think Judge wants to be a Yankee, but I think if someone offers him the big bucks, that I truly, these are historical numbers. He's on pace for over 60 home runs. When's the last time you saw that?
They have Stanton locked up though to a large contract, which
and especially when Stanton comes back, like Stanton's been playing well all year. Our lineup is so deadly.
The problem with Judge is he's 31 years old. If he was 26, I'd say give him a 10-year deal, but he's 31 years old. No one's going to give him a 10-year deal. The Yankees aren't going to give him a 10-year deal. They've been burned too many times.
I'd give him a nice 5 or 6 year deal.
Give him I'd accept a 4-year prove it sort of like even a 4-year deal. I think is set.
They offered him a lot of money. I'll say that.
Like
give him 5 for 200. That's $40 million a year.
I think they offered him like 200 something. Nothing near like a Juan Soto deal or anything.
I think they offered him 31. I think they offered him 31 a year.
Okay.
I mean, after this year, someone's going to pay him, whether it's the Yankees or not. It might be Boston for all we know.
He's going to be an MVP. That's going to be a free agent at 31 years old with 31 teams getting ready to offer him money. Yeah, there you go.
All I'm saying, man, is like
watch him go to Houston.
Oh my gosh, even
him
if
and Altuve,
even if we only got 3 solid years out of a 5-year deal with him, I think it'd be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the team that we have on paper, especially with some young talent we have, I think that this is the team that you're like, all right, in the next 5 years, this is the 5 years that we have a team to go get a World Series, sign this guy, and let's go run it again.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that concerns me about the Yankees is they had a great first half, but as soon as they came out of that started the second half, they won 11 of 15 with record. They started getting a lot of injuries. The starting pitching went to shit. And it's not because they went to shit, but you got guys that are getting up there in innings. The Severino is now done probably for the season because let's face it, another arm injury. I think his career is going to be over. I think he got his big money, and I think now he can't pitch, can't do anything.
Severino's always been inconsistent, in my opinion. He had that one good year. I mean, we put him in the bullpen at one point. Man, I think the Yankees start off cold the second half, absolutely, but I think they're getting hot again. I mean, I think you've seen the past 5 games. Just like in the first beginning of the season when they're
6-4 in their last 10. That's not hot yet.
I thought that they've had 12 games since the All-Star break, and they're 6-6, but they started off like 1-4, 1-5. So I mean, they definitely have turned it around. And also playing the Royals, I think, helped too. Getting some home runs, some at bats hot.
But
let me ask you this though: I'd rather be cold right now than right before the playoffs.
Yeah.
And we talked about that in the beginning of the podcast. That's what I was trying to explain to you on text. Is we talked about how hot the Yankees were, and we kept saying, "When's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? When's it going to happen?" And I think right now is how it's happening.
But
I'd rather be here now than right before playoffs.
It would be disappointing to have the run that they had, and now everyone's catching up to them. To not be the number 1 seed where you get to pick who you play in the first round of the playoffs.
Absolutely. I don't want another wild card game. I want. All
right, let's jump into Minnesota. Ace is waiting.
Minnesota had a great trade deadline, Ace.
Well,
1 game up on the Guardians.
We got some injuries to our outfield as well, so I would not have minded picking up a couple outfielders just to help, or at least even one proven star. Like, for instance, Robbie Grossman got signed to a team, and he was a former Twin. That would have been kind of nice to have.
Jock Peterson was up there too for a second. JD Martinez. Those are some big names y'all could have got.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen Carlos Rodon from the Giants, as well as bringing in Peterson with him in a trade. But we got a stud closer from the Orioles, Jorge Lopez. We just got Michael Fulmer from Detroit, which is odd because
he was a good pitcher. Is he still? Is he still a good pitcher?
He's not a starter anymore.
No. So lefty reliever. Yeah, we got 2 relievers, and then Tyler Mahle, the Cincinnati Reds starter, I think he's young. I should double check that. Didn't honestly give up much. The most we gave up were the prospects in the Lopez trade. But we needed bullpen help most significantly, as well as starting pitching depth. So all 3 transactions help in that department. We're fairly injury free in the infield. We're getting Sano back, but like I mentioned, outfield is kind of depleted at this point. So it would have been nice to maybe add some depth.
How's Nick Gordon playing? Is he still in the pros? Like, can you move him to outfield?
Yeah, I think he's been up for the majority of the year. He's had a pretty good season up and down. Like, I think they've taken him out of the infield permanently. He's made a couple errors at shortstop that just sort of looked routine. So he's been playing primarily left field for us, for the Twinkies. We need to re-sign Correa. The dude is like amazing with the locker room. You can tell he's the leader, like whatever. It's him and Buxton's show kind of thing.
Is it only a 1-year deal again? I know we talked about this contract before.
Yeah, so it's 3 years, but each year he's got an opt-out similar to
that's crazy.
That Giants pitcher I wanted, Rodon.
Yeah.
So we did well. I think the Twins overall, like I mentioned, I was laughing, Chris, when you said the Yankees might not make it. And I'm like, God, if the Twins make it and we got to play the Yankees, we're not going to it ain't going to matter for us. So you guys could get an easy first round.
Look,
We'll
I
see.
think the Twins will be fine when they get healthy.
Yeah.
The thing is your division's consistent. Everyone except for the Tigers went 5-5, so no one's really gaining any ground. I think the Guardians are very beatable.
Well, the Guardians have our number. They've beaten us like the last 4 or 5. So it's just weird how that crap kind of plays out because you're going to play them toward the stretch run.
Hey, that's another pitcher though I was waiting for to see get traded with Shane Bieber.
Yes.
I wanted him. Yeah, I wanted him bad.
And
you know what shocked me though?
There's a handful of them that I think are still left out there. Go ahead, though.
The Orioles have a good thing going. I mean, they're 52-51. They're only 5 games behind the Blue Jays for second place. You think they would have loaded up? They would have picked up more people. And they say that the Orioles have a great farm system, apparently.
I think it's kind of smart. I mean, they didn't really get rid of anybody huge. I mean, Trace Mancini was getting older, right? He's in his 30s.
But you look at their games. I mean, their stadium's starting to see fans in there.
Absolutely.
Again.
But you're not catching the Yankees.
But still, you're going to probably get 3 wild cards out of the East.
Yep.
Everyone's going to win a division, but I think all the wild cards are coming out of that East division.
How many games are they out from the wild card? They're
5. They're 5 behind Toronto.
I think that they're looking for the future. They have a good foundation there, and I think they're just trying to add to that.
But Toronto is the number 1 wild card team right now. They're only 5 games back of them. I mean, that's nothing.
They just added that Royals utility guy.
And they play the Yankees tough, man. This team is no joke. They're going to be good.
But it is, to that point, it is sort of like the Orioles and Milwaukee in an odd way. Milwaukee's first in their division are almost
Milwaukee
sellers.
Was stupid.
They look like sellers.
I don't understand that at all.
It looked like they were sellers in this market, which is sort of odd. Because again, the Orioles as well, it's like you had a great bullpen, but you got rid of your closer. Like you got rid of your stud closer. So that is just going to hurt everyone down the pole, basically.
Now, isn't there a new schedule next year where you don't play your division as often? You have a balanced schedule. I heard Michael Kay talk about that, where everybody's going to basically play everybody. You don't play your division as often as you typically do in the year. Like we'll be playing everyone in both leagues. It's more of a balanced schedule. I heard them talking about that, and I was like, well, that sounds actually kind of cool. Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I do like that. That better mean they give Milwaukee and the Twins more games so I can catch a weekend series. That's all I was saying.
Who's pitching for the Yankees tonight, Ty? My screen's
Talion. He gave up a 2-run home run in the first inning.
It's 4-0 now, and I see the Yankees only have 1 hit again.
I don't know what's I don't know what's up with our pitch. It's probably the 3rd or 4th inning, probably 4th or 5th, I would say.
Okay, well.
Yeah, Yankees got 2 hits tonight. They have IKF has 1 and DJ LeMahieu has 1. That's it.
Wow.
And that's the thing about the Yankees. I mean, one game they'll give you 12, 13, 14 hits, and then another game they almost get no hit. It's a struggle. But I think that Castellanos pitching tomorrow for.
He's going to be pitching against the Yankees.
So you want to win this game, and because you don't want to lose 2 out of 3 from them.
Oh, they're stud.
And then you go to Seattle. You have a series. You have one more series coming up, and then you go back to Seattle after this next series.
Do you guys? Does Aaron Boone come out with much variation in the lineup, day in and day out?
That's the good thing about the Yankees. They have enough weapons where they can move people around and rest people. The thing I hate about the Yankees,
the order. What about the order?
He's been changing it. I mean,
he does. Like Andrew Benintendi's been moving around. He's been lead off 3rd, 6th. There's a couple guys that don't change, like DJ has been mostly our lead off, and you go Judge, Rizzo, and those top 3 have been solid. And then it kind of
Stan's hurt again.
Well, Stan was put on the 10-day DL, and I think that was more so it doesn't get worse. Stan's having a great year though, compared to other years that we've had him.
Oh, absolutely. It's just, these guys, it's just, they're tall. It's a lot of wear and tear on their bodies. I mean, Judge, this is probably his first year where he's played a lot of games like this without being injured. And it's just, that's the thing that scares me about this team. You have a lot of power hitters that just, when you need those clutch hits and they put that shift on, they just can't come through for you. Just my opinion. I love the Yankees. And I just, when you watch the Yankees play these good teams, I mean, like you watch them struggle against Houston, and you see what Houston has. Man, Houston
It was
they just
fresh out of the
generate
All-Star
runs.
break, though.
I know, but I'm just saying, teams like Houston are the teams you're going to see in the playoffs. They generate runs by playing small ball. I mean, they came out and the first two batters bunted against the Yankees in their first game. I'm like, wow, I haven't seen that in Major League Baseball in forever. But it is.
Last thing I'm going to say about baseball before we move on to football is the Yankees and Mets was a post-game atmosphere. Their closer, Diaz, I'm not even a Mets fan. I get fired up hearing those trumpets play. Ace, I don't know if you've seen the video. We'll talk about it after the podcast if you haven't seen it. He's got a walkout song where they play these trumpets and it's like a beat to it. And he comes running out and the crowd is clapping with him. It's amazing. They're saying it's like it's the most electrifying entrance since Mariano Rivera. Wow. He's having a great season. But a lot happened with MLB today. I think it was a very exciting, thrilling MLB trade deadline. Let's dive into some football. How about Miami Dolphins today with the breaking news, losing their 2023 first-round pick and their 2024, I think it was a third-round pick for tampering with Tom Brady and messes in Sean Payton's agent before any of that was open and able to be done. Have you fellas seen that today?
I'm looking at it now. It's about time the NFL cracks down on this stuff, and you're going to see the NBA is going to start cracking down on it.
I was a little shocked. At first, I thought it was 2 first-round picks. I was like, dang.
Just stupid. Probably should have been worse because I think it's obvious they were blowing
remember
games.
Brian Flores came out and said he was invited to the owner's yacht. And when he walked out on the yacht, who was sitting on the boat? Tom Brady.
Was it? I didn't remember that.
Yes. Yeah. I remember that now.
Yes. What they ought to do is they ought to give all the owners, all the GMs, and all the head coaches a company NFL cell phone so they can monitor everything and do away with some of this stuff. I mean, it's not going to hide it all, but let's face it, everybody does it. Everybody does it.
Well, and it's peculiar that the timing's interesting always with this stuff because obviously with the Watson news coming out the day before, it's like how much other crap is going to kind of like and the owner for the Redskins, the football team, the Commanders, whatever the heck they're called.
It's been a lot in the past 3 years.
That dude should not have a team anymore either. With all the all the abuse in the culture within that organization, for the fact that guy still has a job or still is able to own is ridiculous. Because he's somebody that I think has dirt on a lot of people.
Yep. Well, let's go around the room, talk about our 3 teams. Just some interesting news that you've heard for training camp, maybe some injuries, maybe some things that have been highlighted. I can kick us off. Taysom Hill got a rib injury. I don't know how long he's out, but they had him practicing at tight end, and they say he's going to be doing all these special moves again. Now that they have Andy Dalton as the backup quarterback, they want to put Taysom Hill back in that role where Drew Brees was there, and he was a wide receiver, he was a running back, he was a tight end. And I agree with the wide receiver room we have now. Taysom Hill healthy on the field, I think makes our offense just that much better. Alvin Kamara's trial got pushed back to September 29th now, which is 3 weeks into the NFL season. So, I mean, I think with the whole Watson thing, it's kind of dimmering down the whole Alvin Kamara thing, which is interesting because obviously I lost a little bit of respect for the guy, but I still want him to play because he's that great. Jameis Winston looking great. He's even scrambling at practice now, throwing dimes. You got Chris Olave out there, 60-yard touchdown pass with him and Winston. Michael Thomas is out there again, running routes, running his slant routes, calling what you want. He is out there with Jarvis Landry. The offense is looking great. We have our rookie offensive lineman already fighting defensive linemen, straight up punching them in the face. I love it. Get that fired up, man. The defense looks amazing. We have rookies out there that are one-on-one with our top receivers and just putting on a show. Like the defense and offense, I'm telling you, I've said it all year on this podcast. The Saints are a team that is going to get underlooked this year, and they're going to come out with fire, man. I'm telling you, I've said that.
Top 10 in both categories.
I've said that. They're gonna be top 10 teammates. You watch. I'm just kidding. I don't know if
I would say it'd be a top 10 team.
I don't know if they'll be a top 10, but I honestly believe in my heart that people are overlooking the Saints. I said to my dad the other day, Ace, I forgot to text you this. The Saints wide receivers, they're 1, 2, and 3 last year. On the depth chart right now are 5, 6, and 7. That's how bad our injuries were last year. We were able to go 9-8.
Wow. Yeah. And to be honest, I would like looking at all three of our teams. It's conceivable that we could all be top 10 in both, like total offense, total defensive categories, potentially. It all comes down to depth, and obviously injuries play a huge factor in that too. So, but
yeah,
Saints look good.
Saints look real good, man. There's a lot of good. Our rookie cornerback, his name's Paulson Adebo, and he's shutting down our best receivers right now. I mean, if he stays hot like he was last year as a rookie, I mean, our defense, in my opinion, again, another Saints opinion, just throwing out there, our defense was a top 5 defense last year. And I think it only got better. I mean, you throw in Tyrann Mathieu, who he's dealing with some family stuff right now, so he hasn't been at the training camp. But man, I cannot be more excited to watch football this year, especially the preseason, see these guys get in action. But we'll spin it around the table. That's enough talk for the Saints. Let's dive into the Vikings, where the GM said Kirk Cousins is good, but he ain't no Tom Brady. A lot of stuff going on in Minnesota.
What does that even mean? Why is that even news?
Nobody's a Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But I mean, for a GM to say that, I mean, you're putting yourself in a hole right off the bat.
Yeah, true. Vikings camp looks sharp. They are very sharp. The one guy I'm excited to see actually the most to play, especially in preseason, is the safety that's at some point going to be replacing Harry the Hitman Smith.
Oh yeah,
Lewis Seen, I think it's pronounced, from Georgia. He is like watching. Oddly enough, I watched some of his tape after he got drafted. He hits freaking hard.
Do they trade Smith now?
Full steam. No, I hope not. They better not. He's got to stay with us, at least learn under him. And we still got Patrick Peterson. We re-signed him. He was on a 1-year deal. So we got him to help the cornerbacks. We got Harrison Smith. It's like, I'm not really worried about our team all that much. Maybe special teams to some degree. We're coming in like this is there. To me, there's nothing to complain about with the Vikings right now. Long as they stay healthy, we got depth at the offensive line and defensive positions. Plus, we get Daniil Hunter back on the DN side, which is going to be huge. We poached away one of the Packers Smith guys, Zadarius Smith, which I liked watching him play anyways. I think the weakest position for us is going to be probably offensive line.
Yeah,
honestly. And then probably, offensive line and tight end. And that's my one nervous spot about making a deep run.
Who's your tight end?
Jefferson,
that Osborne guy?
No, Irv Smith.
Irv Smith.
He just had surgery randomly today, though, they said. He like broke it, something jammed. I don't know, something with his fingers, I think. So he's going to be fine, but it's like he hasn't really lived up to his hype.
Yeah.
JJ, though, Justin Jefferson's going to be a top receiver this year. He's cocky. He's coming so confident, though.
Let's dive into the Cowboys, where Jerry Jones down the South says the Dallas Cowboys need to be more viable in the playoffs because they haven't been deep into the playoffs. And before I could even say I was 5 years old, Dad, boots in the ground at Dallas. What's going on?
Yeah, boots.
Injuries. We lost an offensive lineman. Now they're looking for a swing tackle. Tristan Hill on defense is actually looking like the guy that they drafted. Micah Parsons is looking good. Wide receiver depth, we're hurting. I mean, they just lost James Washington. But
James Washington?
He's out for 6 to 10 weeks.
Oh, man.
And then, Michael Gallup already said he's not available week 1. They did pick up Kevontae Turpin, who was that USFL leading receiver. He runs a 4.31, which makes him one of the fastest receivers in the league. But look, Dak Prescott's not looking good. I mean, everything I see is just Mr. Dump Off.
Dak did say he's in the best shape of his life.
Yeah, he is. He's in the best shape of his life, but he's inconsistent throwing the ball. I mean, CD Lamb and them are looking good, but the Dallas defense is surprisingly is the side of the ball that's really impressing. And I think that's going to be our big thing. Offensively, I think if they can get that offensive line figured out, that Tyler Smith, that rookie, is playing both sides of the ball. He's been doing very well. They still have a few holes. If they can't get that running game going, I think it's going to be another tough season. And I think no one is talking about the Eagles, man. I just think the Eagles are the team to beat in the East. And I'm not saying that as a Cowboys hater. I'm saying as a realist. I just think the Eagles did a lot more in the offseason than the Cowboys did. We have 2 kickers that aren't doing very well. I mean, first of all, the Cowboys have their kickers before OTAs just kicking with no field goal posts. They're doing 2-minute drills around and just kick the ball down the field. But come on, I mean, what's going on in Dallas, man? There's no goal posts.
Gotta be more viable in the playoffs here, Kris.
But you know what? There are still good receivers out there.
Keep working on that tie.
T.Y. Hilton's out there. You know, you still got Odell Beckham, who hasn't signed yet. So
we'll be back till November.
He's still available. But hey, you know,
might be an 0-8 by then.
I agree with you. Their offense is the weak. Their offense is the weak
Absolutely.
point coming in.
Only thing Dallas has going for him is seeing CD Lamb kick some soccer balls in the goal against some professional soccer players right now. Listen, I love Dallas Cowboys. You know, if I had a second team, Dallas Cowboys would be my second team. I know you can't say something about my Saints, but I've been listening to Shannon. I've been listening to Skip and Shannon the past 3 weeks, and they love diving into Dallas.
Skip and Shannon, who are the biggest
stay away from those
hypocrites.
guys.
Listen. My thing, the one thing I agree with, though, man, is the one thing I agree with is, man, Dallas lost a lot of pieces, in my opinion, man, and that's just me. Did they?
Well, at least on offense, I think on offense they've lost a lot. Their defense should be good.
You got rid of Amari Cooper, who was fading anyway. He wasn't as good as he ever as.
Is Gallup even back yet? Is he good? Is he good from this injury?
Gallup is working out. He is working out. He's on the ropes.
You just lost James Washington,
who is a has-been, who hasn't done anything for anyone.
Right, so who's your receivers
right now?
Right now,
I don't know who the starters are going to be. CeeDee Lamb and then Noah Brown maybe. And
I'm not trying to be a hater, man, but like, I mean, because I'm a fan of like just like the Saints last year, where I was like, listen, like anybody can be a receiver.
We use our tight ends a lot,
man. But I mean, and this is a big test for CeeDee Lamb, and we saw it with Juju. Antonio Brown left, and everyone said, "Oh, don't worry, Juju's number one." But will CD take that step?
You know what I seriously want? I want the Cowboys hate. I want them to bash them and say they're not going to be good, and they come out and they shock the world opening day and beat Tom Brady in Dallas.
They start their first 3 games are pretty tough, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, hey, all we got to do is win 2 or 3.
We'll have to go through the schedule more in depth, like the next handful of weeks here before the regular season. We can just go through, like, start with the Vikings or whatever. Start with one team and then just go each week. We'll do a different one.
You know how Dallas can be really good with no wide receiver up if they take a page from the Browns in the good Browns playbook, where how good they were able to use Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. I mean, Tony Pollard, I think every year the big question is how do we use him more, and they don't. Right? If you can get Zeke and Tony Pollard hot, and Dak doesn't have to throw as much like he was. Like, remember how you'd always say, you know, Dak's leading. Yeah. The only reason Dak is leading the league in passing yards is because we're down all the time. If they can get the run game going where you can lead and not have to throw as much.
That's the key. We got to get a running game going.
10 to 15 rushes a game for them. Same, that's probably what they're going to do with the Vikings with Dalvin. I didn't even mention Dalvin Cook, oddly. He's coming back healthy, but him and Alexander Madison. My guess is Madison's going to get between 8 to 10 roughly a game. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the Cowboys, that's, and speaking of the Browns, that's especially early on in the season, depending on how long Watson's suspended for, if they uphold the same ruling, the NFL, they're going to have to rely on their running backs.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be interesting for all 3 of our teams, especially Dallas. I really want to see how Dallas kind of, you know, goes through this training camp and this preseason to figure things out. You know, you can always find those gem receivers once in a blue moon that you draft them in the 3rd round, you draft them in whatever round, and they can be good. But like I said, in my personal opinion, man, I think Dallas lost some and took some hits, you know, and we'll see what happens. I'm excited, man. Fantasy football. I just sent out those emails. Hey guys, it's that time of year.
Yes.
Fantasy football. Let's get it. Let's get this ball rolling. You know, we got the whole directions and everything that's going to be happening.
I'm playing in 1. I've limited to 1 the last handful of years because it just gets too annoying otherwise.
Especially when there's money involved. I don't want to do more than 1.
Yeah, same.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to discuss before we
random rant?
Let's talk about Watson.
Random
you
rant.
You want to talk about the Watson thing came out, right? So Deshaun Watson, breaking news yesterday was Deshaun Watson suspended 6 games. I think it shocked a lot of people. I think there's going to be a lot of backlash. We were talking about this before we started the podcast, and I feel like we all agree, but also disagree, right? I think what's tough is we all agree that there is something weird going on with him, with how many masseuses he had.
Yeah.
In what short amount of period, and this is where I think I differ from at least Dad. I don't really remember what he said, but the whole 6 games. The only reason I say it is what it is number one, he didn't even get to play last year. I forget what was it. They they didn't want him to play because he didn't want to be there, something like that, right? So
Yeah,
he
What
missed
do
the
you
whole.
say? What do you say to the women who might have actually been sexually assaulted? Do you think
Listen,
6 games for a guy who's going to get $230 million
This
dollars
is a
legit?
podcast that maybe 15, 20 people listen to. All right. I don't know the truth. All I can go off based off the
Viral.
truth is the court, right? So he
Look
goes to 2 court. Wait, it's my turn. You
He
can go
was
after me. You
found
can
he
go
was
after me. You
found
can go after
guilty
me.
on
You can go
3
after me.
things.
You can
3
go after
things
me.
he was guilty on.
He goes to 2
Is that
Texan
2 games?
courts.
Is that 2 games per each?
He goes to 2 Texans courts and nothing happens. They're like, there ain't nothing here. There's nothing we're doing. They're down in the South. Nothing happens, right? What does the NFL do? They get an independent judge. She looks at the evidence. She has nothing to do with the NFL. She has nothing to do with Deshaun Watson. I'm not defending this guy. I'm just saying, based off how this world works, he went to 3 courts and every single one said, this is just how it is. You know what? We'll suspend him 6 games. That's what we believe he should get. Right? I'm not defending the guy. I agree with you. I think there is something wrong with the fact that he had that many masseuses that in that span of time. What I'm saying is he went to 3 courts, you know, and what do you want else? What else do you want to go to? 5 more
Do
courts?
do you think public outrage will force the NFL to raise that?
I do. I think there's going to be a backlash. It's going to force his hand.
You're absolutely right. He went to those courts. But my problem is with the NFL is Ray Rice drop kicked this girl on camera, got kicked out of football. Michael Vick killed dogs for a living, fighting them, got a year suspension. Ezekiel Elliott, who just pulled down a girl's shirt to show her breast, got 6. At first it was 8 games, then it went to 6.
I agree with you.
Ben Roethlisberger.
This guy was found guilty by Robinson. He was found guilty for violating the league's personal conduct policy in 3 ways: engaging in sexual assault, engaging in conduct that poses a genuine danger to the safety of well-being of another person, and by engaging in conduct that undermines and puts at risk the integrity of the NFL. To me, right there, that's a year suspension. That's serious. That is serious things that they found him guilty on.
I thought so. That first point about sexual assault, for some reason, I thought I had heard on another show that that wasn't it. But if it's okay, if that's the case, then you're right. She was, and the multiple women. It's different than Zeke doing it to one person.
Yep.
It's
my thing is
terrible.
My thing is you settle out of court for one reason: to cover up what you did. That's the only reason. If you were honestly innocent, you're going to court and you're fighting it. To make this disappear, it's all about him wanting to play football this year. That's all that is. And
I think too, right?
60 plus masseuses in 17 months, you got a problem.
Yeah.
And last thing I want to say too is, again, I'm not defending this guy. I don't know the details, right? We don't know what's going on behind the curtain. For all we know, his agent's like, listen, just settle these. Even if you know you didn't do it, settle these so that you might be able to play this year. Again, I'm just hypothetical speaking.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if that's true or not. For all I know, these women absolutely are telling the truth. But I also, in the back of my mind, how many times have women come out and ruin people's careers? But again, 25 women, that's a little crazy of a number. But I just don't know the truth. That's why I'm like in the middle. Like I'm saying, like, hey, he went through 3 cases, 6 games and 6 games. But do I agree this is all strange? 25
well, let me
women.
tell you, I don't think 25 women got together and said, let's go after this guy. You know what I mean?
But hey,
I find it
what's
really
the chance that a couple of these masseuses came out and a couple of them were like, you know what, maybe I should hop in with them. You know what I mean?
You're absolutely right. That's the world we live in.
Yeah, and that's sad.
This guy clearly has a problem. The Houston Texans gave him freaking rooms and made him sign no non-disclosure agreement contracts with these people.
Yeah,
he's hiding something.
I agree. It's more of a cover up.
Yeah,
and
it's
the fact that
stinks.
The fact that what's going to hide all of this is the fact that he's a top 5 player, arguably, as a quarterback, which is sad.
You know, it's going to be crazy. The Cleveland Browns are not done with this. There's going to be so many people protesting at their games.
Well, I was going to say the Cleveland Browns are smart because the contract they gave him, I think they gave him like that veterans minimum for that first year, knowing that he was going to get suspended.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, Cleveland could still say Brissett just even wins 2 to 3 games in that 6
I just think the whole thing stinks. I really do. Ray Rice drop kicked this girl in the chest and they threw him out of football. And I think this, not to say that Ray Rice was by far, it was bad. Any kind of abuse is bad. But when you have all these women coming on saying that he pulled my pants down, that he touched me and all this stuff, even if he didn't touch them, if he exposed himself to them and he, took off the big towel and put a small towel over just to cover himself up and they didn't want to be a part of that, that's wrong.
I agree. I agree.
I
Go ahead.
posted an article from SI, so Sports Illustrated, from Jenny Vrentas. She wrote a pretty good article about a lady that opened up about her encounter. She was not part of the civil lawsuit, though. She's not part of one of those victims suing.
Hey,
So,
look
but
what Bill Cosby got. Look what Bill Cosby got. He went to jail.
Didn't
yeah.
he just get out though? Because
he
they
walked-
said that.
But I'm just saying, he went to jail for almost basically the same thing. He went to jail.
Wait. This is so random. But when he got out, wasn't it because those girls lied or something? Wasn't there something crazy that happened?
No, I don't know why he got out, but he did serve 2 years in jail. I mean, that guy went to jail for a while.
But
and guess what?
Yeah.
He basically did supposedly force them to have sex, just like whatchamacallit did.
Yeah. But hey, so before we start this podcast, you said, do you think the NFL will lay their hand into this? And the reason I say yes is because we always bring up the Zeke Elliott case. You know, the court literally said, hey, there's nothing here. There's no evidence. We say he's innocent. And the NFL's like, well, screw your evidence. Like, we're still going to suspend him for 6 games. You know, the NFL has 3 days to respond to this. This happened yesterday, so I'm assuming they got like another day and a half, 2 days.
I say protect the shield. Suspend him for 2 years.
Well, the NFL wanted to suspend him for 12 games, I believe it was. And his team was like, no, we want 6 to 8. So I maybe there's a 9-game suspension. Maybe there's a 12-game suspension. Maybe they don't do anything. You know, I don't know.
Bring on Brissett. I think his starting career record is 27-35.
Yeah, man.
Oh, ouch.
Hey,
And
last
that team
quick
is-
little fact before we get off is I was trying to do a little digging on Drew Lock. Him and because I saw a video of him throwing the targets and he was spot on with his accuracy. And I was like, all right, let's see how he's doing. Him and Geno Smith, they were doing red zone drills the other day, full team. And combined, they went over 10 in the red zone. They didn't make one pass. They couldn't even get a yard. They were
That's
throwing
an
balls.
odd
They
move.
were throwing balls at the feet. Geno Smith overthrew DK Metcalf, who has an incredible height jump. I mean, he could jump.
Jesus,
His
no
vertical is
kidding.
insane. Like they just couldn't do anything. They said it looked
Oh,
terrible.
you know what? It's camp.
This is-
Let the stuff happen in camp.
Yeah,
they're
my
saying
theory-
though, don't sleep on Drew Lock. They said that he's in,
Eh,
but I mean, come on. I mean, I'll see
My-
when I believe it.
yeah, my theory is Seattle and Atlanta are tanking. Like, you
Yeah.
have a chance to get Garoppolo. Why do you even have Mariota? Like, come on.
Hey, I'll
and
be
don't-
real though. I want Mariota to do good again. I liked Mariota.
I do too, but I don't know. I don't know
That's
the
insane.
position well
I,
enough.
I,
It just
there's
seems like
they got those
Go-
videos
Denver.
on
Go
Denver.
Denver.
yeah, let's ride.
Let's
Russell Wilson,
ride.
baby.
Yo, man, and I'm excited to see. Wait, actually, that's sad news in Denver today. They're I think it's Patrick or their wide receiver just tore his ACL.
Oh, he
Sutton?
actually did get hurt. Like,
Was it
that's
Son? I don't think
significant.
it was Son. I think it was.
Is that Patrick Sutton, whatever his name is?
Maybe it was. And you hate to see that, man, especially when they just got Russell Wilson. Like that team. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick on Instagram here, man. But when you see
the
something,
receiver, Tim
Yes.
Patrick.
Tim Patrick, yep.
Oh, okay.
He's
Yeah, well,
good.
he only had a couple good games. He had a big game against Dallas last year.
He's good. Yeah, man. They're saying he's
Oh,
potentially
yeah.
out for the season.
Oh, that does
Tough,
suck,
man.
actually.
Well, it's getting dark over there in the Klein residence.
There it is. I'm looking out Ace's window. It's getting windy out there, and it looks like it's actually sunny there yet. I
It
can't
is.
wait to next week at this time. I'll be smiling. It'll be sunny.
Yeah, how crazy it'll be is I'll be sleeping in bed while y'all are still up and stuff. You know, like I'll be at work and y'all still be sleeping.
Yeah.
Must be nice, guys.
It is
Must be
weird how
nice.
that works.
Well, there was
Tomorrow's day 2 of the packing. I'm kind of not looking forward to it, man. I need to rest my back, but
hey, how
I'm
you
making a
taking
little-
how you taking those poles that you want to take with you in the backyard? They're in cement.
the basket's going with them. It's
gonna
gonna
roll
be
it
all
in there?
decked out. It's gonna be all decked out. But yeah, tomorrow's day 2, and just think by Friday morning, Ace, I'll blow the horn. Maybe you'll hear me all the way up in Minnesota.
On the road, passing
Man.
just south of Minnesota, Iowa. Or no,
Hey.
you won't even touch Iowa.
Yeah, I go through Iowa. I'm taking
Okay.
Route 80 all the way out. So I'll go Chicago,
Okay.
then into Iowa, and then
I'm so
into
excited for you.
Oklahoma.
It's funny.
I'm not Oklahoma, Nebraska.
I get a little jealous, but I'm like, wait, I
That is
I already did that. Like I already moved completely like to a whole different state.
I'm
No,
not looking forward to
15
Nebraska,
hours, man. You could do that. I did 18 hours in one shot.
No,
15 hours would
dude,
be
this
fine.
is it's a 23-hour
Yeah,
drive,
but
man.
you're doing 15 in one, and then you'll have like nothing the
I'm
next. day.
trying. I just want to avoid Chicago, man. Chirac, they call it now, Chirac, because of all the shooting going on there.
Jesus.
Jeez.
Yeah, try
Well,
to do that, please.
Well, there was a lot to digest today for the MLB trade deadline. I love that last hour of the MLB trade deadline. A lot going on with training camp. Football is right around the corner, guys. Hard Knocks trailer just came out. A lot going on. But don't forget to subscribe to YouTube. We got this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Alexa, Pandora,
listen,
iHeartRadio, wherever you can listen to our beautiful voices, we're there. But we did an early podcast this week. Usually it's a Thursday or Saturday.
No, and the nice thing is I can actually do some homework and actually look and take some notes and, actually get more involved with Twitter again because it's been bad lately. It's been bad.
Rest your back, and while you're doing that, now you got time to sit on the phone, I think.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we hope you have enjoyed this podcast. Don't forget to support it, subscribe to it, share it. But we will see you guys next time.